Hey! Give it back!
So what have you been doing on this phone for the last, say, 8 hours or so?
Being productive?
Then what's that stack of papers doing on your desk? Listen, I know you've got a problem. In fact, it's actually a very common problem in today's society. But I'm here today to help you solve your addiction.
I'm listening.
I have here this educational
Boring.
I have here this educational DVD that will answer all your internet addiction problems.
Sounds pretty fucking boring.
Well, I'm not giving you your phone back until you watch it, you fucking worthless millennial.
Fine, Jesus. God, don't have to be so harsh. Hello! Welcome to the beginner's guide to cleaning yourself from the hell that is an internet addiction. Wait a sec. There we go. That was bugging me. Anyway, welcome! Today we're going to be talking about internet addiction. Like the last episode of Penguin Talks, we talked about procrastination. But today we're going to talk about addiction. The reason I chose this topic right after procrastination is because obviously they're both linked in a sense. Usually the reason a lot of us procrastinate is because some of us have addiction to the internet. You know, can't put down our phones to do our homework. So I asked the same questions as before. What is it, and how can we stop it? Hey, Vsauce, Bob here. What is an addiction? Well, when you have an addiction, you are creating a chemical imbalance in your brain that causes you to check your social medias on a constant. And when you're doing that, you're filling in that source of dopamine, or the happy stuff, in your brain. And the reason why so many of us can't resist to pick up our phones or computers on a constant just to check Twitter, Discord, Facebook, or any other social medias is because our brains need that quick boost of dopamine, that satisfaction. It's quick and easy. Our brains remember feeling very happy when on our devices. So what's stopping us from picking it up again to get that quick little boost? It's not like drugs, actually. You probably learned from your health class that cocaine and meth are very addicting. That is because our brains crave the present. Meaning if we're fully aware of the side effects of an addicting drug, our brains don't really care. Your brain wants to feel good right now, and it will go to whatever source it may be, whether it be meth or an internet addiction, and it's gonna go to whatever source will give it that dopamine. That's why addiction exists at all, and with addiction comes withdrawal when you lack that good raw feeling of satisfying yourself for hours at a time, whether it be in front of a screen or with a fuck ton of methamphetamine. Does that make sense? Basically, your brain wants to be happy and it goes to whatever makes you happy. And that happy stuff is called dopamine. And the source of dopamine for a lot of people is the internet. So now that you kind of know how this works, how do we stop it? Now back in the procrastination video, I said you can't stop procrastinating. However, with an addiction, you can stop that. The cure is not easy, but there are many ways that you can prevent yourself from forcefully searching for that synthetic boost of dopamine. So what are your options? Well, one option is to quit cold turkey. This option works for some people, but for others it would feel the equivalent of a massive drug addiction. Basically, there are plenty of apps on the internet that will help you quit distracting yourself by blocking those apps or the websites that you're addicted to. Or if you really have that much self-control, you can just not go to them for a week. A good example of this being effective is a man named Paul Miller, who completely went offline from everything internet, for example Reddit, email, and says that during that time he felt more freedom, healthier relationships with his friends and family, even experienced boredom for the first time. I highly recommend checking it out in the description if you're interested.
The sensation I had is kind of like a 15-year-old's like, you can't tell me what to do, internet. You know, like my life is mine now, and I get to make the choices. And that email that's incoming doesn't get to mess with my plans for today.
I tried doing this for a week. I set up some apps, I went cold turkey, didn't come back online for a week. Yeah, it felt pretty good during that week, but towards the end I was really starting to feel that withdrawal. Like, I wanted to see those notifications so badly. But I made it through, and while I tried moderating myself afterwards, it clearly didn't help in the long run. I think I've actually gotten worse. So obviously this option didn't work for me, but it might work for you. It's worked for a lot of people. Doesn't hurt to try if you tell everyone you're doing it beforehand. It's an interesting experiment, especially if you truly want to know whether or not you're addicted to the internet. It can be good sometimes to cut the cord and see how much it really affects you to not have it. Not only appreciating it more when you come back, but you might get some interesting results out of it. So what else else can we do? Well, another option is to limit yourself, and that's what I've been trying to do for a very long time. Setting up schedules, pushing yourself to do things, not being a lazy piece of shit. Pretty much just knowing how often you go on Twitter, Discord, or whatever else you go on every single day, and making it not be as much of a distraction as it is for a lot of people. It's not easy, but it can make managing it a lot easier when you know exactly how long you're on the internet. Fortunately, there is an app that does exactly that, called Manic Time. Unfortunately, you can't get this on mobile, but you can pretty much get an exact idea of how often you use every little thing on your computer. It tells you how many hours a day you're on your computer, how much of that time is spent being productive, and how much is spent not doing that. And you can even dive deeper and see how long on average you're on certain sites and apps. For me, this was really eye-opening, realizing how often I jump back and forth through apps, how much of my time, my life, is spent on the internet. It's actually insane. So I recommend you check it out, and if anything in this video helped you or interested you, feel free to leave a like and a comment about your experiences with the internet and or addiction. And as always,